One SKT able to shut down the Jin Air Greenwings. We are going to have some subs from the side of the Jin Air Greenwings. Lindarang will be out. Was playing the Aatrox in game number 1, but Tana has been playing a bunch more than Lindarang in recent times, whereas Malrang will also be hopping back into the lineup to replace C's.
A little bit sad to see C's out. I thought he did some interesting things. He was out jungle to open, but then I thought he actually was the main reason that Jin Air had kind of a stabilizing 8 to 15 minute phase where they caught FLICKR in transition. During the creative lane swaps, they were trying to take advantage of some defensive runing advantages they had with the right setups, but eventually SKT made the right move and were able to take them out. Tana coming in can also open up some different champion pools, which is always interesting to consider. Jin Air fans hoping to find some optimism here and find that third game win of the season. We're straight into champ select, so even with a couple of new members on the stage, the games can begin.
No wasting time over here. We got to get back to the action. And that action will not include Aurelia for game number 1, nor game number 2.
But will it hold the FLICKR Qiyana dream that we were all holding on to? We do not have an LCK victory on Qiyana just yet. 0-2, the lifetime score after Lava dropped a couple of games on the champion yesterday in the first day that is available. In Korea, so far we're staying pretty standard. Karma is taken off the list as well. See if anything changes, and here we go. First non-standard ban. People are just not going to have a bar of this Varus and his lane domination. The new build also just going standard crit itemization is making his mid-game and late-game potentially just as reliable. So the Varus ban on red side seems like maybe Root wants to roll back the Ezreal but not have to contend with the frustration of facing the Varus.
I'd say you're on to something there. He didn't really get a chance to show off much of his Ezreal in game number 1 because he got caught out the one time, and SKT got a little bit too far ahead for him to do much. We do have a Jace ban. The Lux is available. The Tahm Kench is available from game 1. We'll see what they lock in here.
I think if you are expecting the lane, kind of everyone is, Ezreal X on the side of Jin Air and potentially trying to hold support for a counter pick, I think Lux's first pick is smart because whatever AD carry now won't have quite the same presence as the Varus. So you need to find something to help you out. Remember yesterday we saw Karma doing the heavy lifting for the laning phase when Ezreal Karma was run into a tricky lane. We'll see if it's going to be the Lux Sivir, as very often the case on the blue side. Jin Air just might roll back the Tahm Kench Ezreal and rely on Root to play aggressive with the safety of the Kench. Does feel like if you want Ezreal, you might want to take it now, because otherwise it could be ripped away by Teddy's hot little hands. Not that kind of hot, though.
Yeah, that's one way to describe him. No, I would agree with you. I think you would probably just want to get the good lane for your one carry, right? The top side has been changed up a million times, all 3 of them. But one thing doesn't seem to change, and that's Root and Kellin. And I don't think they're really going to be changing much. If they're your main carries, just give them what they want and hope they can carry. And this is definitely the way to do it.
Will it just be Aatrox and Sivir on the blue side to make it a teamfight comp, but also a pretty decent 2v2 lane, Valdez, with Sivir and Lux? It's one of our most famous. Feels like that's the Korean standard so far this season. But no, here we go. It's going to be a bit more of a hodgepodge 2v2. It's going to be Kai'Sa Lux, which can work, but also can be snowballed on. Lux is a really popular pick in the LPL and some other regions because of her skirmishing power. But 2v2 laning, yes, it can be high roll, but it can also be low roll. So given that, a little bit different here. Probably going to be the Manamune build, which is very popular in the LPL. Very mid-game centric build where you have your Q evolve early, but your E evolve for those extended team fights comes a lot later. If you can stay ahead in terms of macro, can still be very, very powerful. But it's a change from SKT. This is a priority shift from them. So that's pretty cool to see.
You know, I'm still waiting for Qiyana and Mordekaiser. We haven't seen him pick door bans in either of these games just yet.
This is a matchup. We could see it, right?
Just do it, right? Just don't think too much about it. You won game 1. It's Jin Air. Pick the champion, FLICKR. That's all I'm saying.
If they've been scrimming it, then I think it's smart. If they're just doing it because it's Jin Air, then I'm not as much of a fan of it. But if it's something that is like, you know, simmering, that they feel like can be good, like you don't want to fall into bad habits. You don't want to first time in the match lose, right? So at the end of the day, we'll wait and see if SKT actually feel like it is a prepared pick. Otherwise, something like Azir is popular and Jin Air going to be a bit of a buzzkill. Going to ban it away. Kiana versus Zoe can go like Aurelia versus Zoe.
If we can't have fun, nobody can.
Well, Jin Air, you did it. The Glad plane has been dead for a while, but it feels like the Glad plane continues to roll around in its grave.
The grumpy plane, the cranky plane, doesn't give us the picks we want.
I think it's just the cranky Valdez from what I'm listening to.
Well, that too, but you know, there's still a chance to get Mordekaiser, so there is that. We'll also have, of course, Malrang jumping onto Xinjiao and picking up first blood, as he does in every single game that he plays.
Remember, Clid could also be on the jungle Aatrox, a possibility. We alluded to Xinjiao picks in the first game. We get it in this one. And that is a lot of power when it comes to skirmishing. You definitely don't want to take something that loses skirmishes to Xinjiao if you don't have to. There needs to be a team plan to make that happening. Feels like Azir Sejuani is a pretty obvious draft here, as you seem very disappointed with that reality. But
where's my more jungle? Could throw the Aatrox in the jungle.
You could, and it's not actually the worst skirmish matchup against Xin, but it's also a little bit more fanciful. There's some risk to it. Jarvan could be selected, Sejuani could be selected. Seems like they're between those two, so sadly for you, it's going to be blind pick Aatrox. They don't seem too worried about the Fiora Tana potentials. Hey!
Hey, okay!
It's time for the LCK debut of the Mordekaiser.
You know, we thought Jin Air was the one that was ruining all the fun and taking it away and banning the pick. But instead, they give us a little treat. So, have to be happy with that. We got to give them the props. As Tana going to be bringing us into the LCK with our first Mord.
And this is showing you that you were wrong. Jin Air aren't buzzkills, they're vindictive. They're saying, we're going to get the new stuff, and we're banning out your chance to play it. This is the equivalent of going on PBE and hard locking in the new champ. No one else gets to play it, only you. Jin Air's going to have their fun one way or the other. It's a melee champion against Mordekaiser. And the reason why this is less of a gimmick choice is because they actually have the jungle skirmishing advantage, right? They actually have Xinjiao versus Sejuani, and while that doesn't always work as simply as it does on paper, you take Xinjiao skirmishes, you're coming in at the same time with a bit of a head of steam. So because the Sejuani wasn't a strong combat jungler, it actually means that the Mordekaiser has more likelihood of getting through that early laning phase where he can be relentlessly ganked.
Just happy to see it. We'll see if Malrang can help him out up there. We also have Grace onto his Zoe. We also do have, of course, Root and Kellin on Ezreal Tompkins. It's not an aggressive duo lane like they played a lot in the past, but it's definitely something that can get Root up and carrying. So let's see what's going to happen in our first game of the new Mord here in the LCK. Jin Air fans still here, still trying to make the dream real and have them pick up that first win.
And we've had to be patient to see Mordekaiser. Champion has been disabled in the LCK for a very long time through all of 9-12. We were on 9-13 early. This is our week 4 of 9-13. We had the week before Rift Rivals, and now 2 weeks after Rift Rivals. We've been waiting for the Mordekaiser to come out, so we're very happy to see him. Champion who does a lot of cool stuff. I want to see how it actually pans out in some of the trades. Famous for being a melee champion bully, but the Infernal Chains can do some work against him. It seemed that Malrang was trying to give the CS over to Zoe, but didn't actually do it. If possible, you want to give that extra experience to help with the level 2 advantage in mid lane. Didn't happen. No CS there for Grace. Let's just see if Tana's practiced on this Mordekaiser. His ultimate, always interesting to see in the spectator mode. We don't get to go into the Shadow Realm, sadly, Valdez.
Yeah, if you're going to want to watch that yourselves, you can pick up the Mordekaiser by yourself in solo queue.
I've been there. It doesn't seem that luscious when I went there in the game. Actually, as I say that now, I kind of want to do like a travel log for going to the Shadow Realm. Like, come see our amazing... I don't know what there is in the Shadow Realm.
It's very small. It's a circle,
It's true.
There's not much
How many stars
would
would it be if it was a hotel? Probably like a 1-star, right?
I mean, it looks like there are dead, bugs and animals flying around, so most likely.
What are the amenities? Other than death, I don't know what it provides.
Q used here, and the flash on in. He wants the knock-up, and he should get it. Grace gonna just dunk it in, the one auto attack, and Malrang very aggressively, as here's Tana up in the top side.
No, sadly. No last pop.
Aww. Well, I liked your addition to the play-by-play.
Thank you.
It made everything much better.
Hey, I'm an LCK play-by-play, I'll have you know. Did that one cast with G-Sun. I'm ready to go when it comes to play-by-play. Sadly, no solo kill. That would have been really hype. Hail of Blade, Xin Zhao. And you do notice, Valdez, that it is another one of these fun choices when it comes to runes. So we get the last visit of Mordekaiser. It was
Max
when he was playing top lane. Oh, that's the game when ADD was... Oh, so ADD had a collapsed lung, and MVP had to play with all their players in different roles, and Max played Mordekaiser.
Yeah.
What a memory. But it is Hex Flash on the Xin Zhao to potentially do some more creative gank paths. Malrang's always done it differently. He played Jungle Jax multiple times. He can do cool stuff. Ready to see if we get some Hex Flash shenanigans.
I mean, the second we saw him lock in Jin Zhao, we were just like, yeah, this guy's going to pick up first blood.
And he did.
Whether he gets an assist or he picks up the kill, he's getting first blood for his team nearly every time.
To be clear, Max played top lane, and they did a lot of role swaps. If you remember, they had different people playing top lane because they had no sub-top laner, so it was all...
Yeah.
Honestly, it was all desperately sad because it ended with MVP getting relegated and losing extra matches because they couldn't field a normal roster. And then ADD sitting there on the Spo TV stage looking devastated because of a medical condition rather than necessarily too much else. So I definitely had a darker turn. But in this particular game, still working out more about the Mordekaiser, who started Doran's Ring. Interestingly, one of the extra potion, I guess, Vladimir style.
Yeah, feels like he's doing just fine up in the top side. Was able to get that early push and early level 2 for a little bit of control. Just pushing back and forth. We haven't noticed it go heavily in one direction or the other just yet. As Clid is just shadowing Malrang through the jungle. He loves Jin Air junglers.
And Kahn
hunting him down.
He got the priority here. Malrang's expecting the Aatrox, doesn't know about the Sejuani. No angle with level 6 not available though. Whack. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Q cooldown. Of course, Q the first max. It's always going to be the way to go.
The Obliterate.
Wow, you sound like you're looking at your notes over there, Valdez.
No, I just memorized it very in detail.
Hey, Valdez, what's the name of Mordekaiser's passive? I'm sure you have that memorized.
Darkness Rise.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Mordekaiser in my time.
Like, what sort of effect radius are we thinking with that Mordekaiser passive? Like, what would you say? You probably remembered that as well, right?
Yeah, I just have to, dig into it for a little bit.
Just get through that brain of yours, Valdez. Your photographic memory you have of the Darkness Rise.
Just give me a second.
We always talk about effect radius as a statistic here.
Ah, yes, I found it here. It's
in your brain?
Yes, in my brain. It's 375.
Wow.
Exactly.
You have great Mordekaiser knowledge.
I just know these things. I played it a lot on the Korean server with the Korean text, and yet still, I have been able to memorize the English names.
3 3/4 Teemos, in case you guys are wondering at home. Passive space there. I love how big the damage text is now in games. 208 comes up big. I remember the first time they showed off the damage text numbers that came in. Are we looking at Pro View? No, this is the Shadow Realm. We're in the Shadow Realm.
We're in it here.
We got technology. We even got to see the...
Kahn is very careful about that.
We got to see the desktop. That was sick.
Oh, he's got some speed now, and he's looking for the dunk. There's the shield, but it's not on good timing as Kahn is going to flash on him and put that poor Mordekaiser into his own grave.
That all seemed thoroughly avoidable, and yet the solo kill comes in. The first Mordekaiser, the win rate seems to be potentially not looking so good. Solo kill as ult was used, no resulting ult, and then Kahn popped his and got the solo kill.
Well, you got to admire that he likes to fight, at least. And was really asking for it there, you could tell. But now the Aatrox has a Hex Drinker and is going to make that lane a living hell, as at least Jin Air are able to come up here and pick up that Ocean Drake.
Interesting is all I can say about that. Fast forwarding to teamfights, going to see if the Mordekaiser can at least say, for example, zone away the Aatrox from a potential reset with his ultimate, or Azir or Kai'Sa if they're coming in for aggressive play, but from behind, going to be harder for those timing attacks. Speaking of timing attacks, nice harassment coming out from Root in this lane. Ezreal and Tahm Kench, as we know from Kingzone, can be a super aggressive lane where you're just using Arcane Shift. Poke is in the mid lane. FLICKR misses his shuffle.
Looks like Grace was just able to make him look silly there. So you can tell Malrang's thinking about it. He's going for it. Is he able to get the flash away from FLICKR? That'll be a win for Malrang, as that's really his only job in his mind.
And there's a good plan, right? It's a good trade of flashes because now Zoe Trouble Bubble might spell the doom. Once the cleanse is cycled through, Malrang's coming in and trying to clap back to get the starting spot for Jin Air next time out. Maybe you can't control if your entire team can put up a match victory in a match that SKT is heavily expected to win. Can at least get the harassment. And speaking of harassment, liking the on-point harass from Grace.
I feel like Grace took a similar amount of damage from the turret as he took 2 turret shots, and now Kahn is just saying,
Yeah.
Hey Malrang, stop bullying FLICKR. How about you come up top and deal with me?
Shadow Realm available again, so perhaps we will see something come in there. The whole play was just very weird because we were distracted by the picture-in-picture windowed mode. Red buff might actually steal the blue there. We'll get the confirmation soon. Kahn's proxying. He's feeling pretty happy with Hex Drinker. Are you looking at the mana bar and not seeing it fill up?
Trying to.
No, it's there.
Okay, got it. It looked like the Zoe's one was going up a little bit slower, but maybe he's just got more mana.
Malrang shadowing again. Even Hex Flash not going to find an angle from the right side of our screen. Zoe gets a back timing. She has teleport, so she's going to be just fine on this. I'm just impressed that seeing the right type of aggression here. We mentioned how Kai'Sa Lux not quite the same as other Lux lanes. That means that Ezreal Tahm playing this aggressive is at least escaping with a slender lead.
Yeah, an itty-bitty one down here in the bottom side. Effort if he lands a binding onto anyone. You've got Cleanse with the Unsealed Spellbook for the Tahm Kench. You have Root that can most likely dodge it, and if not, he has a Tahm Kench in his back pocket. So nobody's really dying there unless Clid is able to be there as well.
Hoping we'll see some attention topside, but leaving Mordekaiser as a weak lane champion doesn't seem like a great use of the Mord, and the solo kill obviously takes it from being potentially some harass to now obviously a very defensive lane for the Mord. So Aatrox kind of just getting a free lane here, which can be super costly. Malrang trying to make a map play, Sejuani recalling, but they're going to at least zone away for a turret play.
Sejuani actually surprisingly low, as we did take a look at him going back.
Look at this. This is nice.
Yeah, a couple of turret plates already. I mean, we're 10.5 minutes into the game. And Root is getting gold. I mean, that's what you want to see if you're a Jin Air fan.
LPL always tries to play through the Kai'Sa or duck out of the lane at 10 minutes, go top lane, focus on single target damage, which obviously the Mana Moon works into, and then look for a pick. But instead, we're seeing Teddy run back to lane, had to walk there, his teleport not available, and it could be 3 turret plates plus Klepto gold for Root. This is exactly what he wanted after the Varus ban.
He's feeling pretty good. There's that binding that really does not do anything. It's a sad state of affairs for them, as now, of course, the focus up on the Rift Herald. Nobody's going to make a move just yet, but we're all focusing on getting Root ahead and zoning them away.
I mean, they're putting them into the dumpster in terms of bot lane gold with all of these turret plates being put in. Root's using every bit of mana to harass his first back timing. Perfect. Clid wants to play around an area that's winning, and that's top side. So doesn't get to play around the Killer Instinct bot lane, and Malrang should be able to do enough to harass him out. Kellin.
All right, we're unloading here onto the Tahm Kench, who is going to flash away. Ezreal also TPing down to the bottom side. You can see that Kellin had TP, actually, from that unsealed spellbook.
Bit of a lazy kind of walk to scout when his duo laner was going for a teleport back timing to pick up Manamune, but won't be punished in the ultimate way. They back around to this, and if they can stop the Drake going down and Sejuani doesn't come down, so not even the Drake but the Rift Tower, the more important objective, this is just Root, meaning that he will have 2 items done on next back time.
Well, SKT want to make a strong statement and say, okay, you guys can get that win, but at least we will get the Rift Herald.
Well, they try to 2-man contest this. SKT have sent 3, now 4 here, so it should be Rift Herald for SKT.
When you commit this hard, you should be picking up that objective. As you can see, Grace with the Proto Belt on his W was thinking about making a play, but instead, how about some more plays here in the mid lane?
Still, Jin Air understand what they need to do. They should get Mordekaiser out of this lane because he won't be able to do anything against the Rift Herald. He's going to cancel his back with no backup because Abyssal Voyage is up. They're going to try and stop this from being a completed turret for SKT.
Oh boy, Shelly.
Oh, Shelly got distracted.
What are you doing?
Shelly's reading her Instagram, which is supposed to be fighting.
Come on, Shelly.
They didn't even get a Rift Herald charge gold there.
Nobody got gold.
This is really big for the side of Jin Air to repel that being an answering objective. The most SKT was going to get was shared plates because Sejuani had to escort Shelly, but she was on her phone. She wasn't paying attention, and now, suddenly, Jin Air just straight up adding gold.
Don't text and Rift Herald. You got to make sure you have full focus, as I really don't know what that was. It was the one melee minion in her face that she was really angry about. That delayed her charge by so much. We do have Jin Air now about 2,000 gold ahead after that play. We'll see if they can roll that into something more. I mean, this has been another great early game from Jin Air. We've seen this many times before. But are they just going to fall apart like a house of cards in the mid-game again? That's what I don't want to see.
That was actually pretty cool. Tana was smart to control ward the brush there. It's a pretty standard I don't want to be turret dive ward, but Kahn was actually considering just going for an all-in if Tana ever face-checked him. With a level lead, an item lead, he's feeling really strong. All of that gold is mostly being funneled onto Root, so he is looking real powerful as the Ezreal. But he's top lane right now, and actually, you might prefer when the Abyssal Voyage is up, get him back to the mid lane and try to keep Azir on a shorter leash and potentially rotate to help out his boy Tana, who's not having a lot of fun.
Yeah, Tana got to pick the cool pick. Just what every young player would love to do, to debut that Mordekaiser, but so far it's just been a pretty sad game for him. But the rest of his team is doing well, so hopefully he can do the lose lane into win game strat.
The Fake God strat.
Yeah.
The patented Fake God strat is what he is looking to do, and like you mentioned, in style. He'll be a statistic forever. He's the first reworked Mordekaiser we've had in the LCK. I'll say that in the broadcast in 5 years. No one will care, but I said it. Clid walks up, and this is the sort of dive we were talking about. What TPs are available? None of them.
Kahn's got his third Q here. He's going to try to dunk him down as, wow, the Shadow Realm in the bottom left. Thank you, Riot Korea, as Tana is going to avoid a lot of that damage from the dive, as nobody else but Kahn can get to him.
And that shows you that when you're outnumbered, the Shadow Realm cost does actually buy time. And time in professional League of Legends is very relevant, Valdez. It means that they're not going to be heavily trading down on turrets, even if they have less members hitting that turret. So overall, it actually worked out pretty well.
It looks really nice, you know, especially if it's teams trying to come back from behind by going 3-1 and diving. You can buy so much time for your team to come back here as Jin Air say, okay, you got everybody on the bottom side. How about we try to take out a tier 1 in the mid lane and even get a bunch more damage and some gold onto Root, as they're really sticking around. They want to get this turret. Tahm Kench able to tank it all up as Tana is going to repel them in the bot lane.
We're seeing the patented Mordekaiser macro from the side of Jin Air. They understand that, yes, leaving 1v1 Mordekaiser will have costs. It will mean that Mord doesn't have sick items when it comes to team fights, but in that scenario where you're playing split map, they were actually pretty smart about what they could achieve, how much aggro they could tank, and defensively, they're able to turn around, get all the outer turrets, and sustain a 2,300 gold lead. First 15 minutes, Jin Air versus SKT. Jin Air's, you know what? It's kind of B+ territory.
Yeah. I mean, the Mordekaiser build, too. Just get the Zhonya's. It's the stay alive build. If anybody's going to dive you can just Shadow Realm 1 and then Zhonya's so that you can survive, even if they are tanky enough.
I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide over here.
I mean, you might as well, right? He died in the solo kill, and then he's like, well, I have the perfect build for this. This has happened to me many times in solo queue.
So you have to go perfect timing, then build a Zhonya's, then you have 5 seconds of stasis, Valdez. Think of power. Who's he ulting? I think the ulted Aatrox is pretty high value. I'm talking about in a 5v5.
Yeah.
It's kind of like between Aatrox
what
and
is
then
going
whoever
on with
dies
this
first.
ward, by the way?
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay, they finally...
So you have to be on the top side of the brush to see that ward.
Is that correct? We didn't have the vision top.
He was on the bottom side. He was sitting in the brush, not attacking, unless he has auto attack.
Is this
off.
one of those special hidden feature wards? Like
Could be.
ward. The one that I noticed during my review is below the blue mid lane inner turret. The brush there also has some weird vision things. Impact was killed on one of those on his GP, so maybe that is one of those special feature wards. It's still 913. The 914 bugs will be...
Let's see it again.
Here we go.
Okay, into the Shadow Realm. This time it is going to be Kahn again, as Clid is like, I can just ignore him and try to go onto the turret, but now he's tanking. Let's see if Kahn can actually dive the turret, but then he's Zhonya's. I love this build. He just doesn't die.
All right, Kahn is definitely having no fun.
TPing
See you later, nerds. He had places
man.
to be, Valdez.
Best build 2019. The never die, never get dove strategy from Tana.
Tana's very tanky. Mordekaiser is not diveable. After the first time, you would hope that SKT worked it out, but this is working out surprisingly well.
The perfect build for a Jin Air Mordekaiser. You know that you may just be dove a bunch of times. What can you do to avoid it? Well, this is the way to do it.
You know what?
We've all learned
We've
today.
finally worked it out. You know how Nuggery has been crushing everyone? The hard counter to Nuggery is available. Mord with Zhonya's and take perfect timing for an extra stasis. Now, you don't have to fight him at all. Run, Tana. The ult's on cooldown.
His ults and his Zhonya's and his TP. And you can see that they know this too. They're like, maybe we can catch him with the cooldowns down. But Tana just going to ping him out, and Jin Air's like, well, if you really want to bully our Mordekaiser this much, we can just get objectives elsewhere on the map.
So far, Jin Air pulled the trick twice. It's the fool me once, fool me twice scenario. We're hoping SKT doesn't get fooled a third time. Wow, Everett's almost laughing his way to death there.
That was 2 Qs from Root right now. He's hitting like a truck. And we've talked about the mid-game, but all of that focus and the frustration trying to kill Mordekaiser has allowed Jin Air to chip down the tier 2 in mid lane and get the tier 2 in the bottom.
But SKT do have 2-item AD evolved Kai'Sa. They do have pick CC. Can Jin Air keep this up, or is the Cunning Ruse going to be over? Is kind of the most interesting sub-question here. They really want to pick someone, have Teddy assassinate them, and Jin Air doing a lot of stuff. Notice that on the Drake, they're recalling. These are the sort of spots where Jin Air frequently trips up, and no one can catch Root with a CC. And SKT says, damn it, come to us, we're on the Baron.
Well, we're just going to start it, and they are going to see it now with that True Shot Barrage. Here comes the Jin Air team.
Zinta's not going to get there. SKT's going to get Baron.
Oh, he's too slow. Tana trying to get on in there and seal it away, but it goes over to the Lux with that unsealed Spellbook Smite. Tana desperately trying to get someone to fight him, as Lux is going to be the only one to go down for now on the side of SKT. Kahn doing a fantastic job just distracting and tanking up. Let's see what Root can do. He's going to get flashed on and swept into the garbage as FLICKR is going to put him in his place. That's going to be the Baron and the Ace going the way of SKT.
The Cunning Ruse is abated by a smart Baron call. Mordekaiser wanted to find a way to ult away a smite, but they had more than one. Effort had his smite with Unsealed Spellbook. An important thing because you can stop Barons or steal them, thanks to Mordekaiser removing someone from a fight. They catch Jin Air. Finally, SKT make it about them, and the Observer kindly points out the smite. Tana thinks, all right, maybe we can steal this one. I'm going to get in there and ult away Clid. But Lux had this one prepared earlier. It's like that cooking video where you get to have that time jump. They'd already prepared the food earlier. In this case, the Lux gets the steal. Or the secure, as we should say. And even with the flashover, Jin Air being about 20 seconds behind the play, by that SKT pick it up.
FLICKR's Azir mechanics not going anywhere. As we're gonna take a look. It's like, I'm going bottom. But before that, we got that patented nice from the side of Kahn.
Oh, you added a bit of emphasis to the end. I like it.
That's the Kahn way.
It's true.
I had to do it justice in my own way. Probably not the same volume, though. I wanted to cut down on that one. As he was happy, everybody's pretty happy on the side of SKT. We weren't sure about the mid-game. You know, Jin Air was doing a lot of good stuff, rotating.
The game was about what Jin Air wanted to do. They were like, we're going to have Mordekaiser be over here and hold himself defensively, and we're going to trade up the rest of the map. Now, suddenly, it's Baron, and it doesn't become about you. How many split push comps have been ruined by a Baron through many different iterations of the meta in League of Legends? Malrang doesn't take an aggressive Hex Flash choice there. Let's see how Jin Air approach this one. SKT trying to play multiple lanes. And right now, that harassment's doing a number.
Ooh, okay. Teddy just going to come in here from the jungle. They get the flash away from Grace, the real one. And that's a nice, just small move you can do. Use a couple of ultimates for a summoner, especially the flash. Is always going to be worth it.
Getting the most out of this Baron is pretty big. SKT desperately want to break the base, because then you can't play cute side lane plays as easily after an inhibitor is down. Seems like no ults are used. Tana still has the Death Realm.
Yeah, trying to bait Kahn into this one. He gets the knock-up and the dodge on the lick, but the knock-up here from Malrang and the pull-in might just be enough. This is four members.
Your base.
All on top of Kahn, and he's nearly even able to get a kill as the entire base. As you mentioned, it has belonged to us. It has belonged to SKT.
Oh, their base belong to SKT. They are the ace of base. Insert other base reference here. You're not a bass guitarist, are you, by any chance? No, SKT take it over, yet. And that's too many members to send against Baron, as was the case with SKT sending too many members against Mordekaiser.
I guarantee they thought they could kill him faster, but Kahn dodged so much in this fight. Very well done to buy as much time as possible.
And that's all he had to do. It's just too many members. You can't go for these Abyssal Voyage plays against a pretty strong turret damage team. They have Azir in the mid lane, right? He's obviously going to be able to delete turrets. The hashtag worth is called up by Kahn. Respawns with his teleport up to rejoin his happy teammates. SKT were in danger, you know? It didn't look like necessarily they were going to lose the game, but the game was about what Jin Air wanted to do with some unknown variables like the Mordekaiser that SKT seemed a little under prepped on. But the Baron call was some stock standard League of Legends executed well. And now, you look at it, it's a 4,000 gold lead. The Siege comp can't look for sieges. The Mordekaiser has to be defensive. Jin Air needs a miracle team fight, and it probably starts with a trouble bubble from the heavens.
Yeah, I mean, this is just once again kind of what we were expecting here from this kind of game, as at least the Baron is gone now, and SKT can't terrorize them just yet. They will have to wait a little bit more. You know, it's a Cloud Drake. We still got 5 minutes until an Elder, just about. Let's see how SKT do want to handle this. They could have Kahn push in the strong lane down on the bottom side and then maybe rotate to the top, as he has done by far on his team the most damage here.
Pretty much been on that front top side.
Boy. How did Malrang get in the back there?
Swept in by FLICKR.
Now, FLICKR just doing it again. He's bullying Malrang tonight. That has been the main guy, as Stopwatch is going to keep Kahn safe as they lose a Nexus turret in the meantime.
Here we go. Feels like this is going to be the closing moments of our first series of the day. The long-range harass, the turret going down in mid. Not going to be able to follow up with an inhibitor top side, so that at least buys a bit more time for Jin Air Greenwings, but just like their season, feels like they're on borrowed time, Valdez. They lose this match, I believe. Let's try and get it correct. Is it 0-11? I think it might be, with this match.
Yes, that is correct.
I believe if they lose here, they're basically mathematically out of playoffs, because you kind of need, historically, 9 match wins minimum, usually 10, and there's only 7 matches after this for Jin Air. Here's the replay. Malrang got scooped. We always love to talk about scoops of ice cream. Got a jumbo-sized scoop of Malrang there. He goes down, and yeah, feels like we're 1 push away, or maybe even a couple of picks away from a 2-0 win for SKT.
Yeah, it's kind of what we signed up for the first series. We were always wondering, you know, when is Jin Air going to win that first series, but they could, guys. The chance is still possible to make records on kind of the unfortunate side and go 0-18. But we'll have to wait and see for when that does happen. We mentioned this before as well. Currently in the LCK, it's like 7 teams and then there's 3 teams. You could say 2 teams in 1, as Teddy is just going 1v1. Going to try to force that play to happen.
So Voyage canceled there. Seemed like they were considering their options. SKT looking on to the Baron. What spotting vision is there? I see a blue trinket and a dream.
Well, Kahn's in an unfortunate spot here, but he is going to be Mikhail's up. A very common item nowadays on the supports, as SKT just want to force the fight, but Clid is going to go into that stopwatch to make sure that he can actually go down, as Jin Air is turning this around. Root in the front lines, as SKT try to force that way too hard, and they get punished for it.
That's a really poor play from SKT. If you look at the mini-map, they don't actually have any super minions forcing the base defense, so Jin Air could walk up and defend, and they can walk up again. SKT need to actually coordinate this. Oh, FLICKR almost taken out by Root, who definitely has plenty of damage behind that ultimate. If there's nothing else Jin Air have to be doing on the map, then of course they're going to be defending a Baron contest. And with the mini-map, look at the mini-map here. There's actually no reason for more than 1 member to be defending the base. The minion wave hasn't pushed in. Blasting Plant pushes Clid into this area. People try to defend him, but whether it's the Xinjiao ultimate or a really good spot for the redemption, it was actually territory that favored Jin Air on the defense.
I mean, you could be ahead 10,000 gold in that spot. Probably not be able to get away if you make a play like that. So that's the one way you can come back in this game we call League of Legends. As SKT, you could see, they're still very confident. They started up the Baron right away, right afterwards, even after losing their jungler. Just trying to play the sneaky game in that fact, but now they get Clid back. They're absolutely going to be looking for another pick here, as Kellin will be forced to use that one very early, as Teddy and Kahn in the back line. Sounds like a huge nightmare for the side of Jin Air. It doesn't look like they'll be able to get out of this one this time. Triple kill now for Teddy, as SKT have found the opening they were looking for.
They back up that play you want to forget with 1 to remember. Great flank timing for Kahn. They're going to go for further kills. They just want to put this Mordekaiser in the ground.
We got to get that KDA. We got to stack it up. How about
Run,
an extra
FLICKR.
guy?
FLICKR, no!
Oh, boy.
Got him.
He's going to kill him there in the Shadow Realm. Tana thought maybe, just maybe, he could pick up a kill, but that was not going to happen. FLICKR stays alive, and SKT will stay alive with their 2-0, and another one, in fact, that is going to be their 5th 2-0 in a row here in the LCK.
And FLICKR gets to end the game living through his stay in the Shadow Realm. You know what? He might actually leave a positive review on Booking.com for that stay, because he exits with the kill, they exit with the points. I thought that SKT actually made some VOD reviewable mistakes in both these games, and it's not often you leave a Jin Air series as one of these teams that we think will be aspiring towards the top and have things you can kind of learn on and really pay forward in future games. But I think that actually exists for SK Telecom. So while it wasn't a awe-inspiring victory, they get the 2-0, they keep their game score high, they extend their win streak to 10-0, but we know that there was some soft opposition among those 10 games, and the schedule gets way more meaningful for SKT when they return next week.
SKT, their next game up against Gen G on the Thursday, then they have Griffin on Sunday, so not delving too deep in, you can already see that the next 2 matchups are going to be a bit difficult. So we'll see if they can keep this going. Maybe the morale will be higher. Maybe they can practice on their communication throughout some of the weaker teams here in the LCK. Maybe that can get them to power up, as they are going to, after this win, land on 6 wins, 5 losses, and just another team of the top seven that is trying to make playoffs.
See who picks up the MVP in this game. Coach Han talking to his Chargers. I wonder if they've learned anything about their next roster they're looking to field when SKT come back. It'll be Gen.G again, so Gen.G have leveled up since they were part of that loss streak and our top 5 opposition. Let's look at how many contenders they face in a row. They go from Gen.G to Griffin, who are struggling recently, but obviously have largely been one of our better teams. Then into a FLICKR. A lot of tricky games, and they don't play Hanwha Life, one of our lower teams, till actually the second last week of the season. So some contenders in a row will give us a better barometer, because how strong is SK Telecom is something I don't feel like we're qualified to answer, because either you're talking about the now, which is beating up on some of these lower teams, or you're talking about the history that didn't matter very much in their 1-5 start. So between those two, we're caught in two minds to really evaluate SK Telecom T1.
That was Kahn there, the Halabong.
He's from Jeju.
Yeah.
Donga is one of those names for him. So because of that, that is a response to him. Hanlabong, his previous name, is the fruit, I believe. It's in the bottom left. If you showed a Western fan that, they'd probably think it was a Christmas tree ornament. That's what it kind of looks like. Something you hang up on a Christmas tree, but that is a Hanlabong.
Christmas ball. As this is my favorite sign of the entire day, the giant FLICKR head. Big fan of that one.
We've got our own giant FLICKR heads up here as well.
We do.
FLICKR can even join us on the analyst desk. Wow. Hello, FLICKR. We got him here. English production, like you guys want. We got all the best guests.
We got 2 FLICKRs. 2 out of 2, I'd say, on his gameplay today. He earns 2 FLICKRs for his play.
Nothing WTF about this. This is exactly what we want on the Korean analyst desk. Getting our FLICKR time.
Yeah. He should add this, FLICKR W. I'm not sure if he has that on his Twitch emote.
Was this his expression after he got that solo kill onto the Mordekaiser in the Death Realm? Can you do your best FLICKR face? You need to have kind of a blank stare in your eyes along with it.
I think I'm enjoying it a little bit too much to have that blank stare.
Come on, Valdez, be a good actor. What do we pay you for?
Very enjoyable. I feel like also the glasses are something that a lot of fans remember him for. So many signs that don't even have his face, but they just have a pair of glasses, and we know who they're talking about.
They're always talking about FLICKR when it comes for SK Telecom T1, but we were talking about Mordekaiser. Not this part. This is when he went into the Shadow Realm for stats and got solo killed by Kahn. It was kind of embarrassing. The moment that the E went wide, there was definitely an all-in opportunity. And yeah, maybe back to the drawing board on this one. Tana, the follow flash from Kahn was nice.
Good
Expecting
read.
it, he knew that the E was going to draw out a flash. It was the attempt, and this was actually smart from Tana, right? Because he tried to get a smite out, but this was prepared for earlier by the Lux, and the unsealed spellbook choice against Mordekaiser might be a pretty heads-up play, even for a champion like Lux, who usually is going for lane presence instead.
Yeah, good old FLICKR with another highlight play to add to his magnificent reel. Just flashing on in right after the Ezreal was able to flash away and make that play into a big one. Kahn also had, I feel like, his MVP moments. I'd probably give him number 2 in the MVPs outside of FLICKR. Once again, he survives, nearly gets a kill in this play.
It was a fun series. Not every Jin Air series is one you might recommend, but I think SKT fans even would enjoy watching this one and say, okay, there's some stuff for us to work on. We're not the finished article, and we just weren't sure after that big victory at Rift Rivals that would have really kind of amped up people's hopes for SKT. They seem better, but I don't think they're the finished article just yet. Some definitely achievable mistakes here. This was a great play from them after a poor Baron play. The follow-up here of getting that huge flank onto Kahn as they were engaging onto him from the front was really good synergy from the side of SKT, and it was that passage of play that yielded the eventual 30-minute victory.
Hey, take a look at the graph there in the middle. Just all of a sudden, whoop, up to the top side, up to the blue. And yeah, I mean, it was only 6,000 gold ahead there at the end, but SKT were able to dominate, and the best AD carry ended up being Teddy, as Root was not able to carry all by himself in this game.
And you put both games together, nowhere near 94 minutes. And for that, Papa Smithy says thank you very much to SK Telecom T1 and the Jin Air Greenwings. The gold graph did show, though, competitive till it wasn't, which very often is the case. But I thought Jin Air had 2 early games they could be proud of. If they can build on those and build from there, maybe there is that match victory somewhere. But running out of time, Valdez. We're getting towards the 0-18 reality that might be the case. Looks like an apple, not a Hanlabong, but it's something that Kahn is enjoying. 300 MVP points for the top lane.
I can understand why they did end up giving this to him. I mean, he did get the solo kill. He survived very well at the end, but a lot of highlight plays from both Kahn and FLICKR. This one, a little bit more of Tana's mistake, but Kahn able to just get on in there and capitalize on the good play. So props to him, definitely deserves this MVP.
I think we know what FLICKR's response was when he found out he wasn't MVP this game. Probably very similar to our sides.
It's like, great, I don't have to talk in front of the camera.
He's getting real good at talking in front of cameras. It's ye old FLICKR, the oldest mid laner we have in the LCK. One of the better ones, that's for sure. He's been around a while. He's been the young gun for so long that it's so surreal that when Kuro left, FLICKR actually assumed his mantle of being the oldest mid laner in the LCK.
Still quite young, but we'll be hearing from him right here. We're going to hand it over to Jisun for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the Nervous Translation, and we'll be hearing from Clid, Kahn from SK Telecom. Clid, how do you feel about the win? We haven't been going up against the west side teams yet, so but it's really happy that we are able to remain this momentum. So I just want to maintain this momentum and pick up better results on and on. So this is the 5th consecutive victory. So what's the biggest driving force of SK Telecom's victory recently? I cannot just pick one. I think all 5 members are doing so well. Clid, in the previous match, your performance in J4 was awesome, but today it was Sejuani. But this was your first Sejuani game in the Summer Split. Do you not prefer it? Well, in the previous matches, we really wanted to try it, but it was mostly banned out, actually. So today, SKT was able to get the Sejuani in the draft, and Jin Air was trying a lot of rotations in top and mid lane. So did you expect a 0 top lane? Well, I did not expect at all. So I just wanted to stay in lane, but after I get poked by the spear on Azir's, the soldiers, I was like going out of my mind. It was so hurting. As a jungler, how did you decide your jungling path being that rotation? When I tried the first gank in top lane, Kahn was like, I could see he was having a hard time, so I just wanted to have some of the comfort of time in the top lane, so I wanted to make the first gang on top lane. Clid, your skill shot in game number 1 was fantastic, so we have this highlight over here. So first, me and Effort, we were trying to get the visions around there, but we found the very delicious animal to hunt out, so we were able to pick that up. So that was a bit of a prediction of your ultimate. So is that how you use your skills? Well, I usually win a lot of mind games, so I think I was able to pull that off here as well. In game number 2, Tana played Mordekaiser for the first time in LCK. But in the previous interview, you actually said Aatrox is the most first pick champion. So how do you rate Mordekaiser in the current meta? Well, it's not a good first pick champion because it has a lot of counter picks. So I think it's maybe second tier champion. So yeah, it's a second tier champion. Maybe you can just counter it with Mordekaiser after seeing your opponent's pick.
라인전 하시는 분들이 정말 상대하기 너무 까다롭다, 힘들다 이런 얘기를 하기도 하는데 오늘 칸 선수는
So how was the laning phase up against Mordekaiser? Because a lot of people find it really difficult. Any tips? Well, the major skill is E, so actually it's a matter of avoiding that skill or not. So if you dodge that, actually it's gonna be a lot easier in laning phase.
자, 그리고 칸 선수의 솔킬이 나오기도 했죠.
And he had a solo kill in the early phase of the game, so let's go through the highlights.
먼저 들어왔었는데요.
So Tana actually went in. So how did you kind of counter it or fight back? Well, still, when you're in the ultimate, Mordekaiser also gets tower shots, so turret shots. So actually, I was able to land a lot of my skill shots as well. So I was just going in to kill him.
솔킬로 이어졌습니다. 1, 2세트 뭐 SKT가 약간 고전하는 부분도
So
보이긴 했지만
SKT,
결과적으로는 잘 풀어냈어요.
well, it was not a very
경기력이
easy game.
아주
In the
좋다고
end,
평가할 수
SKT
있을 것
was the
같은데
one
이제
turning the
다음
game
경기가
around
젠지.
and
젠지가 요즘
closing out the
많이
game. But your next
위협적인
opponent will be
상대잖아요.
Genji. You know,
클리드 선수
Genji
어떤가요?
is
좀 각오가
on a
되어
very great
일단
momentum.
그 젠지가
Well,
약간 좀
Genji,
되게 게임을 밸런스 있고 탄탄하게
I think
잘하는
they
것
have,
같아서
they're really good at
그
balanced
원동력에
game
있어서는
and their
약간
performance is
피넛
really
선수가
solid.
나쁘지 않았나
I
싶어서
think Peanut is the key
그 점에
player,
대해서 좀
kind of
조심해야
making
될
it
것 같아요.
happen. So I have to keep my eyes on him.
기다리고 있는 젠지라서 네, 좀 걱정도 될 것 같지만 클리 선수 워낙 잘해줄 거라고 생각을 하고요. 칸 선수도
Kahn,
각오
would
들어보도록
you like to
할게요.
add on to that?
일단 다음 경기가 젠지인데 이게
So
한
we're going up
3일
against
전인가
Genji.
피너 선수랑 듀오하면서
3
1대1
days
했는데
ago,
제가
I was
개발라고
playing
그래가지고
Dio game with Peanut, but we played 1v1 on Lee. I actually just wrecked him, so I'm sure that Clid will be able to just destroy him, and I'm just gonna do my work on top lane. Thank you.
클린 선수의 어깨가 무거워졌습니다. 네.
Clid, I guess you might feel a little more pressure on your shoulders. However, SKT, they're still on a win streak, so congratulations on the win, and thank you very much for this interview.
네,
So
SKT의
this will be the end of the interview with Clid, Kahn from SK Telecom. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for the wonderful translation. As always, good to hear that Kahn is doing well up against many other names here in the LCK.
We're in a very fortunate spot. SKT versus Genji, someone has to win. If Fly or Peanut or Kahn win an MVP, they're all trash talkers, so we could have a really exciting interview after that series. That'll be next week. SKT doesn't play twice this week. We don't have 5-match weekdays anymore, or 5-day weekdays anymore, because we have cut the Wednesday broadcast of the second round robin. We're going longer though. We've got 5 weeks of 4 days to close out the season. SK Telecom versus Genji is next week. SKT end this week stuck in 7th because their game score still needs a bit of work. They've played more matches than Afrika, so that's why they are not ahead of Afrika, but could end this week in 6th spot. That is possible. Next match, we'll see the Afrika Freaks, and in fact, 6th versus 8th is our second match of the day. It's going to be after a bit of an extended break, just over an hour, before we'll start talking and opening up the series. But Afrika versus KT. KT don't win here. Their playoff dreams might be just as dead as Hanwha Life and Jin Air at the bottom of the table.
There's really not a lot of time for those bottom 3 teams to do much, except try to avoid relegation, which is just an unfortunate fact on where we are. There's 7 teams, and then there's 2, and then 1.
Yep.
It's funny, SKT winning 4 in a row now, I believe, 5 in a row, and they're still in 7th place. The climb is real. We'll see if they can do it starting next week. But guys, as Papa Smithy mentioned, we'll have about an hour break. That is going to be a long time for us to sit back, eat some food, and prepare for Afrika versus KT. We'll see you then.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Like a feather, I like the wind. I fly together. I'm feeling feather light.